All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start teaching just so I have this on record too. It says teaching overview. In this module, you'll be teaching a diverse first grade class at Metropolis Elementary School. The 12th. Okay, thank you. I'm recording. The 12th student class includes students with a full range of learning needs, including students with an IEPs, English language learners, highly gifted students, and a range of talents and challenges. Metropolis is focusing this month on bullying, social and emotional learning, and school climate. You've been asked to implement a technology integrated lesson plan with students will create a social story that discusses ways to behave in various situations. The students should on this lesson will be on this lesson for about 20-30 minutes each day for a week. You'll be teaching this class 5 times. Assign tasks each day based on the sequence and pace you feel is best for the students based on their responses and progress. Focus on managing the class as a whole and helping students be productive. Remember, you will teach this class 5 times. There is no rush to use all the activities in the first class. Pace instruction based on your observations of how students are responding. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and it says, we want to make sure that we regularly assess individual and group performance. So just checking on individuals, designing. I always had trouble with Sim School because even though it's supposed to be reality, it's not. So I'm going to see what we have. So I'm going to start teaching. I automatically pause so I can kind of look over my class for a second because just like in the real world, you want to make sure before school you kind of will be able to look over the students and see if any have IEPs, any of them have any learning, English language learners. So here I go over each one. And usually it's supposed to tell you profile. And it goes Felix, he has no IEP, but he shows outside stimulation, social interaction. So he does not have any IEPs. Oops. You can look at Robert. Robert does have an IEP. He likes his private space, quiet room. Here, he has, again, Felix. I already said Felix. Terrence, he does not have any IEP. So right now, only Robert has an IEP at the table. Kim does not have an IEP. Working with others, she likes. James likes working, has no IEP. Blake has no IEP, so far just Robert, again, has an IEP plan. So Michael, we know that he does working with people or alone. Again, another no IEP, no IEP, no IEP. And then right here, so we know that we have 2 students with IEPs so far. Again, some people might need to must disturb likes a private space. So she does like to work alone. And so I just want to make sure I always look over students. I kind of want to work alone just so I know that sometimes when you put them in groups. Oops. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start. And today's activity, I always come in. Oops. Why is this not doing it? And I always like to come in and teach. I know this is really hard accommodations. I always like to say, hey, thanks so much I like to greet students every time I come in because you just want to make sure. So I'm going to greet the class. I know some of them are a little unhappy being at school already. And we're going to talk about story lesson plans. And we're going to direct students to turn to a teammate and tell something that happened at school yesterday because we just want to kind of talk about what's going on. And I do have to apologize. My dog is kind of barking. So here we're going to turn and let's start our day off by greeting a fellow class member and telling one thing that you learned yesterday. And so hopefully there's no confusion on this. Sometimes we have to tell the kids, they kind of overthink it. And you just want to say, and automatically you can see some that had little sad faces. And you just kind of want to get over them. Some kids are happy about it, so I can ready tell, and some kids are not. You want to ask the question, yes, James. He might have some, I just always want to make sure, maybe one kid always has a question, I'm confused, in which there is confusion. Maybe he wasn't here yesterday, maybe he wasn't sure. And so here it's kind of hard to work on this because for me, I don't know what was the scenario yesterday. But I'm going to go ahead and, start doing, I'm going to direct the students next to take out a piece of paper and draw a picture of something that happened yesterday. Because even though James isn't here, maybe James, I can talk to him individually. Oops. Actually, that was supposed to be for the class. Draw a picture, and that was supposed to be for class. Sorry, James. We're going to assign it to the class. I think he's still a little bit confused, but I just want to make sure, it even said that something that happened yesterday. It doesn't have to be necessarily in school, but just something in general. So still, some of the kids still look a little upset. I'm going to go ahead and walk around the classroom, just make sure keeping the kids on track. You just want to make sure I never get this right. I just want to make sure smile at students as I'm walking around. I know some of them are so unhappy right now. Again, I'm going to walk around. I should walk around the classroom. I'm moving around because as a teacher, I want to make sure the kids are able to see what they're doing, make sure that they're staying on task, and just make sure that they're really focusing on what they're supposed to do. Again, we see a little bit more happy faces. So after we're writing, I can see Robert's doing really good. He's enjoying his life right now. I see our friends doing it. So I just want to say, I want to also encourage them. I also want to encourage them that they're doing really good. You want to be positive, get thumbs up. Hey, you guys are really doing good. I'm proud of you. All right. And as we're waiting, we're only about 6 minutes. 3 minutes in, Lord. James looks happy. He wants to, I think, explain something. He looked happy. Let's see. Okay, hard time trying. I'm going to give him a little bit more time. Let's see if I can explain it to him just a little bit more. So I'm going to teach. Sometimes this might not work for James just because he's a little bit confused. I wish I would have had something which would have taken him separately one-on-one. It would have given him a little bit more instructions, but we don't really have it here. So as we're finishing drawing up, I always want to make sure the kids have a few times just to kind of, they have a transition time. And so sometimes we have it. I don't know if it's going to have it. I want to make sure the students have a transition time. Go into a new topic. I see one student have, there we go. We're going to give our friends a new break just before. Okay, James is getting it. Now he has something going on. I see two friends struggling. I'm going to look at his face. Felix looks like he's a little bit confused, along with Michael. Okay, and so he said, hey, I'm going to be distracted soon. Sometimes you just need to give him like a sensory tool, which I did for James, and he did fine. I'm going to check on Michael as well. And sometimes he just wants, hey, I think you're doing good, Give a thumbs up. I'm going to give it a thumbs up to Michael because I think he did good. He did understand. Okay. And I'm going to say he's okay because sometimes kids, I think he's okay right now because we're also transitioning to a new topic. And so we're still talking about social stories, just talking about, social and emotional learning. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing an instruction because we haven't done that yet. And so we're going to explain the concept of, we're going to explain this, explain what a social concept is. So this is my third one. And today I'm introducing the topic to the students, and the level of difficulty is pretty low. So I'm going to explain it to the whole class because I gave them a transition time, and I'm introducing the topic, and then this level is a little bit easier, so I'm giving instructions. So right now, James, again, we want to make sure I'm explaining the topic before I have students asking questions, because if I'm explaining the instructions at times without any interruptions, their questions might be answered. So here I am explaining explaining it. And I'm gonna say, I think you're okay. Just right now, I think he's okay because the level of difficulty was a little bit low and I'm explaining it. And we're just explaining the concepts that what we're going over this week. And afterwards, kids do not look 100% happy. We're going to watch a video. So again, we're talking about it, and some kids need visuals. And so we're using the visual to show different situations in which a student faced a communication challenge and needs to make a choice how to behave. And so I'm going to assign this to the class. And I'm going to assign it to class. And all we're doing is watching a video right now. And I want to make sure that we're staying focused. James, I'll go check on James real quick. I have some sad faces, a little confused right here. I'm going to check on my friend Robert just because he has, and he looks like he's done. He's good. All of them are doing A-okay. Okay, and so now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to direct the students to listen while I explain a situation that might happen on the playground. Again, just introducing the topic. Then I want you to draw a picture of the situation and what to do. So here we're talking about when, I'm so sorry, my dog's here. We're explaining about, oops, that was supposed to be for the whole class. Sorry, everybody, to the whole class. We're going to assign it. And I'm going to go ahead and check on Felix again and James, just because I feel like they're having maybe a little bit of difficulty. And sometimes I'm kind of iffy. You kind of want kids to struggle just a little bit independently, and then you can go in and you can get support. I don't want him. Let me see if I can do something else, maybe a sensory item, because he did respond well for that. I like what we're doing now. And I do apologize. That's my dog. So I'm going to go ahead and give him maybe another sensory item because we knew that worked well for him the first time. And maybe he just wants to play with something and work, and there's nothing wrong with that. So here, let's see if this works. He looked a little bit happy. And so as we give instructions, just kind of get the kids illustrated on the topic that they are working on. Now we can actually start really building on the activities. And so with the activities that we are doing right now, we are going to I'm going to direct the students to draw a picture of the situation. So now we're learning now we're going to learn more of the instruction part. I'm going to, we want to describe, which we did, and at your table, where's it at? We want them to draw. So again, I'm just going to write, and we're going to describe them. At your table, we're going to describe our pictures to the group, to the class, because it's really nice. And I want us to show, and I know some of our friends, she might have had some issues with it, describing or working with others. Maybe she's a little bit nervous, or maybe she just doesn't like working. So we just want to make sure she's okay. I just want to check in on her because I know that for her, she's maybe working together might be a little bit, or working as a group might be a little bit difficult. So I'm proud of her. I want to make sure that she's doing okay. Oh no, look at that. Might have, I don't know if that's happy or change of attitude. And we want to direct the students. So here we are describing, hey, showing each other different ideas about what they drew. And we're going to show the students 5 pictures of challenging situations next. I'm going to show them challenging situations next. And we're going to spend, I want you to spend the next 15 minutes